I want to let people speak. I in no way intended at all to minimize what happened to Charlie. I was horrified by it. I have not been on the five
but
since
the two
then.
sides argument, well, it's like pig Latin to a duck.
No. All that I was saying is could we have all of the information before you just say they did this? Because that is a broad brush to paint with this. And this kid
Let's have a conversation.
No.
Charlie had a conversation. He got shot.
That's Fox News contributor Jessica Tarlov, a woman who always sounds like she belongs in silent films, now scrambling to walk back her own words after trying to push blame for the fatal attack on Charlie Kirk. But Greg Gutfeld wasn't having it, and he tore down her argument point by point in front of everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm Nurkish, and it's becoming clearer every day that the so-called moral high ground of the left is starting to collapse. Ever since the loss of Charlie Kirk, their response has been nothing more than excuses and, what about this, distractions. Tarlov even tried to throw in completely unrelated examples, as if mentioning those could erase what really happened to Kirk or what it means for politics in this country. But as you'll see here, her weak attempt at spinning the story fell apart quickly once Gutfeld stepped in and shut it down.
But we know that Tyler Robinson was raised in a close-knit conservative family. We know it was a big gun culture family. The grandma said something like, we don't even know any liberals. It wasn't school indoctrination. Kerry Lake went off on that. He was in an online apprenticeship program at Dixie Technical College, which I don't think was changed.
I would just note
I understand, but they didn't say when he changed. Yeah. I'm just saying we need more information before you
Charlie Kirk at a dinner.
We don't need more information.
Really?
Yes, we don't need it. What is interesting here is why is only this happening on the left and not the right? That's all we need to know. There's absolutely no cognitive...
What about Melissa Hortman that we just talked about?
You want to talk about Melissa Hortman? Did you know her name before it happened? None of us did. None of us were spending every single day talking about Mrs. Hortman. I never heard of her until after she died.
She doesn't matter?
Don't play that bullshit with me. You know what I'm saying is there was no demonization, amplification about that woman before she died. It was a specific crime against her by somebody who knew her. The same. Now you could bring up Josh Shapiro, but then you will not bring up, for example, that was a pro-Palestine person. So don't use your what about this? The fact of the matter is the both sides argument not only doesn't fly, we don't care. We don't care about your both sides argument. That is dead. For one thing, there is no cognitive dissonance on our side. On your side, your beliefs do not match reality, so you're coming up with these rationalizations like, what about this or what about that? We're not doing that because we saw it happen.
This right here is the whole issue. Jessica Tarlov pulls out the same tired, both sides are guilty routine, this time dragging in Melissa Hortman as if that somehow makes things even. But Greg Gutfeld finally said out loud what millions of Americans are already thinking about this kind of watered-down talk. Charlie Kirk was a major reason so many young people gave Trump's message a chance and supported him. And that's exactly why his critics went after him so aggressively. They disrupted his events, they smeared him constantly in the press, and when a radical eventually carried out the attack, the very people who fueled that hatred rushed to cover their tracks. Greg's message couldn't be more direct. This has nothing to do with balancing the scales. It's about ending the lie that conservative speech somehow deserves or provokes violence.
We saw a young, bright man assassinated, and we know who did it. We are not coming up with rationalizations. We are calm. We are honest and we are resolute. We're not defensive. And I understand the defensiveness. I understand why people are saying, what about this and what about this? Because if you have to face the underlying fact to this, your life is going to fall apart because you're going to realize you're not the good guys. If you sat around and you defended the mutilation of children, you're not the good guys. If you sat 600, 700 cases of harassment against Republicans and you said, but what about this? What about this? And then you see this murder after calling somebody a fascist, you realize maybe I'm not the good guy. That is a hell of a realization to deal with. So therefore, you have to grasp at rationalizations. You don't have to do that, Jessica. They do. I don't believe you're part of that group, but why the hell do you have to mimic and echo that crap to us? He was a patsy. That guy was a patsy. He was under the hypnotic spell of a direct-to-consumer nihilism, the trans cult, and you know that. If you can decide that biology is false, you can agree that murder is okay and that humanity is expendable. How you cannot see that alone and see that for what the evil it is without having to attach all of these other things is beyond me. I'm sorry, you weren't here for a week. You came in here and it's cold, and I'm sorry, but this is a story that is immune to news cycles, it's immune to rationalizations, it's immune to bias. This thing is with us for good, and we all have to deal with that. So that means we can't live by the same arguments that you might be reading about relativism among the media. We can't deal with those stories. It doesn't matter. The media is dead to us on this story. They built this thing up. We're dealing with it. We're going to act. We don't care what the whataboutism is anymore. That's dead.
The era of fake politeness is finished. For years, the left has called conservatives every name under the sun, saying they're dangerous, saying they're worthless, and then when Kirk was killed, many openly celebrated it. And now those same voices want to twist reality, pretending the right is at fault for not calming things down. But here's the truth. Conservatives don't owe respect to people who literally wish them dead, then later try to brush it off as just heated talk. That act of moral superiority is gone, and people across the country are finally seeing the double standard right in front of them. So, what do you think? Was Gutfeld right to push back hard against Tarlov's both sides argument? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. And if you liked this video, make sure to hit like and subscribe to my channel. It really does help us out. Until next time, this has been my channel. Thanks for watching.